Hello, everyone. So we are continuing with our classification algorithms in the machine learning, and the next algorithm is going to be comparatively simple, but it's really used in the practical scenario because of its simplicity and couple of challenges associated with the solution. And now, especially with the advent of the big data and the large volume of the data available in small to medium organization, the algorithm not feasible to use against those data set. But this algorithm is going to be a base of another algorithm that we normally use into our machine learning or data science problem. So like you can see on your screen, we are talking about decision tree, the most simplest to understand the machine learning or the data science domain. And theoretically, we should start from the decision tree, but obviously regression is another simple one that you can understand the mechanics, how the machine learning work and how the data is contributing into the machine learning modeling instead of logic. So coming back into this a diagram that you are seeing on your screen, I took a very simple example that we have a project, we have a machine learning model which take the parameters of the project and tell us whether the project is going to be successful or it has a risk of failure. And obviously in the risk of failure, we have two risks, either it's going to be low risk or high risk. Now, we only have two variables in this example, so that's why you can see we only have two level of the tree. And obviously, like you can see, if we have more variable, the tree is going to be complex, and as well as the number of nodes at each level, and traversing those node during the algorithm execution is going to be computer expensive because it needs a lot of traversing between these nodes. Based on the value, it's going to identify the pattern and then recommend it, right? So that's where the algorithm itself is not quite feasible, considering we already have the improved algorithm available that we can use instead of it. But obviously, due to its simplicity, you can easily understand it, and obviously that understanding is going to contribute a lot once we implement a real one, which is obviously the random forest, which is built based on the decision tree. All right, so decision tree, we have two types of decision tree. One is for classification and the other one is for regression. In this example, we are because we have already started our classification journey, so we're going to discuss the classification in this video. So you can see I have two attribute. One is the project budget and the other one is project resources. And based on the combination of these two attributes, I'm actually deciding, or my machine learning model is deciding, whether the project is going to be successful or it's going to be in the risk of failure category. All right, so how it works, like you can see, we have two values of each attribute, yes and no. And theoretically, we have similar pattern. Obviously, you have already seen in the logistic regression that we have the categorical attributes and we have the continuous attribute, and we can use both kind of attributes, and we have different techniques to adjust these attributes for our machine learning model, and then we can feed into our machine learning model. But in this example, I want to keep the concept simple. So once you have a good understanding, you can build some complex trees by yourself. So obviously, if project is over budget and if the value is going to be yes, so that means project is already going above the budget limit. And then the second attribute we are checking is if the project is under resources, means the project doesn't have needed resources. If these both attributes are giving us yes flag, So that means there is a high risk of failure for this project, right? Because obviously, if project is not going to have right resources, or is already running above the budget, so budget has been consumed due to many factors, and obviously people who work in the project management area, they understand how the budget normally blew up during the project execution. There are a lot of unforeseen factors that impact on your project plan, right? And it always impact on these three attribute equation: budget, time, and resources, right? So, and the best project manager is the one who actually balance these attribute, right? So with this simple tree, we can easily see that if we have an unknown project and we have the attribute value of that unknown project, and if both budget over budget and under resources are yes of that unknown project, we can safely classify that project under the high risk of failure category. All right. If the project is over budget, but the project is not under resources, that means project is going to be over the budget, but the project has the right resources. And I think all of us agree that it is people who deliver the project, right? If I right people on the project, although sometimes the project takes time, but at the end we get a qualified product, right? So that then it means we still have a risk of failure, but that risk is going to be low. Like you can see, that's why if the project is going to be over budget, but project is under resources, we are classifying that project as low risk of failure. All right, so that's the one side. Now, if the project is not over budget, it's a dream of every project manager, by the way. So yeah, so that's a very positive sign that we still have money that we can use to try to get the project delivered within the time frame. However, the project is under resources, right? So there's still a chance of failure because the project is not having the right people who can work to deliver the project. So you can see the equation is still the same on the no side, and on the no and yes combination side. Like if the project is not going over budget, but we don't have right people, we can still deliver the project, like we can hire the project, but there is a risk associated with the success of the project, and that's why we are putting it in the low risk category. However, if the project is not over the budget, like obviously project is still within the given budget, and project has all the resources available, so we can easily classify, yeah, that project is going to be successful because we have enough budget, we have the right resources on our project, so they're going to deliver the project within the given time frame. So that's how we use the decision tree to classify our record into different data frame. Like I mentioned, into different categories. Like I mentioned, we have the improved version of these algorithm, but obviously you need to understand the base and you need to understand how the decision tree work, that because that is going to be used in the random forest. So once we build the random forest, we're gonna see how decision tree is contributing into that algorithm, and you're gonna see that a lot into the demo that we're going to actually use in the PySpark once we build that algorithm. So hopefully you understand the decision tree. You can even go and you can build a very simple decision tree for your problems which you are building, and then you can see the machine learning in action for your day-to-day job. It doesn't require some big data set. You know how you can start with machine learning. You can look at the problem and you can think, is there any algorithm from the machine learning side that I can use to apply on this problem and solve it from the machine learning algorithm, instead of me writing the condition and and addressing the business logic. So that will help you to start improving your machine learning skill, or or the thought process that normally the machine learning resources have in their mind once they address the challenges of the machine learning problems in the real world. So hopefully that video will be beneficial. It's a good brief introduction, and I'm gonna see you in the next video with a practical demo of decision tree. Thanks for watching.